It's another episode of the Christian Reeve Podcast. But are you subscribed? If not, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Spread the word about the Christian Reeve Podcast and enjoy this episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Christian Reeve Podcast. Today's guest is a good friend of mine. It's Calamity Hatcher. He's back for the fourth time, I believe, now. Welcome back, my friend.
Right. I'm very well, man. Thank you so much for having me back. I really appreciate it. How are you?
Say that again, mate.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. It's a pleasure to have you back. I've been keeping track of what you've been doing, because you can appreciate this as well. Like, it's when you go into like hyperdrive with content creating and you're really serious about it, you just don't have the time to really consume anyone else's, apart from maybe your favorites and stuff. It really takes up all your time. And I glance every now and again at what you're doing. I'm paying attention and stuff, because I think that's really important. Like, as you grow, excuse me, I can't even talk. As you grow, you need to have the people around you. Do you know, it's like that expression, what is it? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, or whatever it is.
Yeah, no, I get you.
I've been thinking about that more and more, as time's gone on.
That's why you get so many houses.
What do you mean?
Like content creator houses.
Well, I don't know.
They're a bit of a thing, but
I wouldn't be against the idea. I think I'm a bit too old for it now, though. I think we've kind of missed the boat on that, haven't we?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe. I mean,
it depends on the people you have, I guess.
True. I don't feel my age, though. I don't know about you, but I don't feel.
Yeah, no, I'm the same.
Yeah, because I'm 20. I turned 28 in May. When's your birthday? How old are you now?
April. Yeah, 28 in April.
20. Oh shit. Oh, you're older than me. Oh fuck. I
never knew that.
I think I've spoken about this before, but yeah. Well, actually, that leads me on to a fun question. So you're born on April 1st. You are literally a joke. Ha ha.
I am. My entire existence is a joke, man.
How did that happen, man? You told me there was a story behind it. Let's go.
Not so much of a story, but there was a thing where my mum called my granddad and said, I'm going into labour. And he was like, no, you're not. Just straight up, no, you're not. And he was just there for ages, like, you're pulling my leg. No. And then it took my dad to take the phone, because my dad doesn't mess around with someone else. He's like, no, Alan, genuinely, she's having a baby. And he was like, oh.
Get your ass in now.
Okay, yeah. Get in the car, start going.
Oh, man,
yeah,
that's
kind of
awesome.
mad,
man. What was okay? This is sound like a weird question, but since we're on the topic of births, what was your birthday like? That's such a weird thing to say, like your birth date, as in the day you were born. You know what I mean? Like, no one ever says that. But yeah, anyway, like, because I've had mine described to me, and I'll explain what mine was like. But like, tell me about what yours was like. What have your parents explained? Like, how was it?
That's the only real thing that I know. I know that I was quite small, but that's all I really know, to be honest. I've never really asked too much about it, because I'm just like, I get that it's the start of my existence into this world, but really, so what? It's the training day. What do you learn on that day that impacts the rest of your life? You know what I mean? So I've never really thought about it.
I'm so glad that we have no recollection of that or anything like that. Imagine how terrifying that would be.
No. I can't deal with the thought of what that must have been like.
I do wonder sometimes when babies are like really young, like, between the ages of like 0 up to like 2, when they start kind of recognizing things and people and smells and stuff. I do kind of wonder, like, do they think, like, not in the terms of like, constructive thought like we have, but like we know that it's possible to think sort of above our own comprehension and level of understanding. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, we know that, like, animals dream, for example.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that's the case? Do you reckon they can understand things, or I don't know? I don't really know what I'm asking right now.
I think they can, but in relative terms.
Right.
So not in the terms in which me and you understand things. If we see a tree, we're like, that's a tree. And then you have to think that the word tree to either that baby or that animal is not a word. There is their own thought process for what that is, even though it's the exact same object. An animal is not going to be that's a treat. They have their own term for that.
Sometimes when I think about this, like I'll have days where I space out and I start thinking about like, what if there were more colors? Like drug talk, basically. But I'm not like, it's just general thought. And I genuinely start getting a bit like freaked out when I start thinking about it. And I can't explain why, but it's this idea of like beyond our own level of understanding and comprehension of just everything that we perceive. And then I start having all these questions like, for example, the way that I see the world, is that the same way that everyone sees it? And I'm not talking about, how I feel, but like more like literal perception. Like if I see the color gray in front of me, would you see it exactly the same way? Or if I smell something, do you smell it the same way? Like, you know what I mean?
See, I would say there's evidence that you don't smell things the same way on the basis that the opinions that people have on different smells. For instance, some people can't stand the smell of petrol. I personally love it, but that must smell different to me than it does to the person who hates it, because there's a different reaction there.
I agree with you. Yeah, I've noticed that too. Like, especially when it's like a particular hatred for a smell, or like it's so funny when you meet someone who's like, I don't know, they're eating some food that you detest. Like, for example, I hate celery. I can't stand celery.
I'm with you.
It's awful. But then there's people like my granddad would like almost eat it off the stick, and I'm like, oh, what's wrong with you? The humanity.
Oh God, no, that's horrible. I can't deal with that. So it's like Marmite as well, isn't it? Like you either love it or you hate it.
Marmite's a weird one. I can't decide where I'm at. I'm okay. I'm partial.
I'm a Marmite guy. Marmite on toast, I don't think you can go wrong with.
I don't know. I'm kind of like indifferent. Like,
okay,
it's like a mood. Do you know what I mean? If I'm like,
yes, right, okay, I need to put this down there. Everybody I feel has toast mood swings.
Yeah.
Right. And you go through phases of what you want on your toast. So at the moment, I'm back on a peanut butter hype.
Ooh.
Eventually that will die out and I'll go back to Marmite.
Oh yeah, you get sick of it after a while.
And then I'll be like, oh, I fancy jam for a little while. And then you switch toast moods.
Me and my mum used to do this thing because we were like, we were pretty poor, and not many people know that. People always assume like, oh, he's this rich boy, went to a nice school and he speaks very well. We were poor. The boiler broke down every year, and like I had to do the whole boil the kettle and put it in the bowl and all that shit, and like literally. It was so fun. I remember bringing friends home and they sort of looked around, like not in a rude way, but they were like, damn, Christian, like this is where you live? Like, because all of them lived in houses, and like our school, now I look back, was in a pretty affluent area. Most kids that went to our school were pretty well off, their families.
Yeah, I mean, it was affluent, yet in a not so great area.
I don't know, I think it depends, because Ruislip was really nice. I loved Ruislip. Yep. I loved living there. There were dodgy parts of Ruislip, but mostly it was a very nice area. And I don't know. Yeah, it's a tricky one.
Northwood Hills itself wasn't a nice area, I don't think.
But there were nice
but parts. The surrounding areas, they all kind of contributed.
It was confusing. I felt like the more you pushed towards Northwood School, the rougher it got.
Yes, but then if you went left there at that roundabout and you started going up towards Northwood, that's where you were in the money. That was like proper posho.
I must have.
When you get past when you get to that roundabout, I love how we're talking about this. So you get to the top of Northwood Hills High Street and there's a roundabout and you've got Northwood School on your right-hand side with the library.
Yeah.
Go left and past the Iron Bridge. Then it's all like golf clubs and
directly left, so not up the hill, but directly left. Yeah, but that again, I walked down there a few times and it looked rough. So I must have missed that completely.
Oh yeah, it's literally when you get to that Iron Bridge over the road, the train one, it starts to get like proper posh.
I think I went down there a few times actually. I do vaguely recall. I remember this was weird. There was a park in Northwood, and then there was the world's shittiest skate ramp ever, and like literally,
I remember that.
It was terrible. It was like you couldn't skate on it. But I remember, this was how weird this was. There was a shop there, which was like a tire shop. I don't know, car, auto thing. And it literally said like West Drayton Tires. And I used to stand there and look at that and be like, why is it called that? It's not in the same area. It's miles. Like it's a good, from Northwood, it's a good 30-minute drive. Like it's not anywhere close.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they started there and relocated, but then changed the name. Like, why are you keeping that name? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, West Drayton, look, no offense to anyone that lives in West Drayton. There's probably not very many listening, but yeah, it's a shithole. It's getting slightly better, very slowly, but look, I lived there for a bit. I fucking hated it. And here's the thing.
It's got worse.
Yeah, well,
they got rid of the police station.
Right, did they? I didn't know that.
Yep.
See, when I was living there, I hated it. And the reason that I hated it was that we moved as I was doing my GCSEs. It was a bit mad.
That's a rough time.
Yeah. And I loved Ruislip. It's in my heart. Like that to me is the last place that I actually felt like at home. Once we moved to West Drayton, we had like a nice apartment, but it was in a crappy area. And, you know, it was very hit and miss. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was nice. And I just always hated it. And for me, it was like a countdown until I could move out, really.
Yeah, I get that.
It was just rough. I don't know. I hate rough areas.
Rough. But then all of that bit is, if you go, you know, like you've got Hayes.
Oh, it just gets
exactly renowned.
It's literally, if you put this in order of shitness. So it's like, and like Uxbridge, again, another place that's got really bad. It used to be okay, and then now it's really like awful, and it's like literally Uxbridge, terrible, then Useley, which is more or less West Drayton, and then West Drayton, which is terrible, then Hayes, and Hounslow, if you've ever been that far. Raw. Oh my god.
Don't ever go to Heathrow for anything but the airport, people. Just saying it now. It's not worth your time.
Literally, the way I always describe like places like Uxbridge and Hayes is like towns that you drive through to get to the airport.
Exactly.
Just drive through. No need to stop. Sorry? Do
you remember the days of Fasnage Park?
I do.
In Uxbridge.
I do. It looks very
Getting a cheeky Chinese at lunch.
Oh,
everyone hanging out outside Tesco like the little emos who were.
I grew so there was a big stage between I think the ages of like 11 to like 13, 14 where I was there all the time. But then I started making London friends, and then I was like, screw Fasnage, London's where it's at. I had very good
different.
Time. Oh, okay.
I was in Games Workshop all the time in Uxbridge playing Warhammer.
That's fair.
And it was me and my friend Lewis. And I think this is the first time that we realized girls properly existed.
Ah, yes.
Because these girls came into Games Workshop and started talking to us, these emo girls. And we're like, you should come to Fasnage. And literally from that day, it started being a thing that we were going to Fasnage every weekend.
Because that's where the women are.
That's just where the women were. Young teenage Hatcher was oh my God, a girl spoke to me.
Dude, it was so true. I remember because I used to go skateboarding there. I started when I was 11. I think I stopped when I was about 17 or something. Literally, I skated like basically every single day, like Ruislip, Uxbridge, Harrow. I used to go to Bay 66 in London quite often, like all the time. I used to even get up on weekends early to go. Like I don't know what the fuck.
I miss Bay.
Oh, Bay 66 is good. It's good, but and then somewhere around 14, this kind of age, started dating girls, and then suddenly it's like, oh, do you want to come London where there's women, or do you want to go skateboarding? I think I'll go where there's women.
Yeah. And then you turn up with the skateboard to try and get yourself a bit of credibility, try and make yourself look a bit cooler. So, I can do a trick. And
to be honest, I just couldn't be asked to carry the skateboard around. Like I did a few times carry it with me because I figured like it was just nice to skate around in London. But then I kind of realized quickly that I wouldn't be doing any skateboarding, and all of my time would be spent dancing, drinking, having a good time, whatever, partying. And I was like, I just couldn't be asked to carry it around. So I just stopped. Like it's kind of sad, but things kind of like just eventually. It's like today. It's like these days. Like I kind of got all of that party stuff out of my system. And like, I still want to party and have a good time. I still feel very young, but at the same time, I don't know, I'm very introverted these days, you know, unless I know you. If I know you, it's like, you know, fucking soul of the party. But if I don't, like, if you meet me in real life, I'm very different from school days. I'm like introverted. I rarely start conversations. I wait for the other person to do it. I just keep to myself, like Lone Ranger. And
I'm quite the same, to be honest, like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it took me a very long time to figure out that I'm that sort of person. And it's really ironic because my mom is that sort of person. And we used to have like mini arguments, not really arguments, but she always used to say, oh, you know, one day when you grow up, you'll be like me, where you'll be sitting reading books or like, you know, doing stuff on your own alone and you'll enjoy it. And I'm just like, nah, that'll never be me. And now I've literally become that person. Like, if anything, like a lot of the time I'm like, I could go out or I could stay home and be happy at home.
Do you know what I mean? I think like you've hit the nail on the head there. I mean, we're approaching 30, dude.
Oh,
we are approaching 30.
No,
and like I'm as much at home in a rock club, doing a FaceTime video or whatever, as I am sitting at home watching Netflix with a takeaway.
It's all about the company.
I can do. It is about the company, 100%.
That's the thing. Like I have very few friends. I've got like a few people who I can trust in my life, and then, but it's like I can count on my fingers. Like most of the, like I'd say 90% of the time I'm alone. I don't really speak to anyone. You know, that's the way it is. And because I used to be really sad, like this. Okay, this is a bit sad, but this is just the truth. I've never spoken about this.
Let's deep dive.
When I was at school, like not so much in my, okay, so like between the ages of like, I would say 11 to like 15 or 16, I was very happy. You know, I was constantly, I had friend groups in London, friend groups at Hayden. Like I was pretty happy, but I started to notice problems. So like I started to try to get into like, if you remember like Ben and Chris from school, like I tried to kind of hang out with them and their group, but like I quickly realized like I was the guy that no one ever called, and I was the guy that was never included. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't like the easiest person. I had my own shit to deal with, but like I realized very quickly that I was being left out on purpose. Like I could feel it, and I confronted them all about it quite a few times because I'm quite I was forward like that. These days I wouldn't give a shit, but back then I cared, and I was constantly trying to fit in. And I didn't realize back then that I was this type of person, like just an independent person, I suppose.
Yeah.
I was like petrified of being alone, petrified of, you know. And then when I got to sort of sixth form age, 16, I would say between the ages of about 16 up to 21, to be honest, I just felt super alone. Like, you know, very depressed. I can pretty safely say that it was depression at this point.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was bullied pretty mercilessly in sixth form for like a year, and then it stopped. And then sort of the band stuff started happening. So I had something to take my focus. And I did consider those guys friends, but like other than that, all I did was either skate or, you know, see my friends in the band. But I didn't really talk to anyone else. And then I obviously started dating someone for 3 years. And a relationship really helped. But like when it ended, so this was sort of beginning of 2014. So it was the year that I was going to university. But I was kind of back to square one.
You feel on your own, don't you? Like,
oh, dude, I got to say, it was probably...
He's got to think about it.
I'd say it was the lowest moment of my life because I felt, I felt extremely lonely. I was depressed because of the breakup, and I was also miserable because I was forcing myself to go to this supermarket job that I hated. Luckily, at that point, it was part-time, and I was doing this college course. But I was like, my head was not in it. I had to force myself to go there and care, and like, my head and my heart were somewhere else, but like I was on autopilot, and I just genuinely had nowhere to go, nothing to do. And I remember it, you know, for quite a few summers there, So I'll explain. So the year or half before I got into that relationship, in those summers and all that time, I was depressed. I had no one to hang around with, right? It was the same in that beginning of that year when we broke up. And it was summer again. And this was the last summer before going to university, right? And I had no idea how that would change my life for the better. But basically it got to a point where I was so miserable and sick and tired of being miserable that I literally remember the day I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to go to London to some random show. I don't care. I'm just sick and tired of sitting on my own, being alone, feeling like this. I'm just going to go. I don't even care that I'll be alone and feel alone. It's better than being at home and feeling alone. At least there'll be people around. So I just went up to Camden and because I loved Camden. It was always good back in the day. Went to some random show and I met a friend of mine. Shout out to Princess Maha. One of the coolest fucking human beings I've ever met in my life. So I'll list off a couple of things. She is the lead singer of a punk rock band, The Cut, all female, very cool. She has her own record label. I think I mentioned her on the podcast before, but whatever. She has a PhD in psychology. She's a doctor. She's literally doctor. It's the coolest fucking person ever. But more importantly, she was the type of person I needed to meet back then because I needed someone fun in my life to make me kind of remember that I was a young guy and I should be out having fun and making the most of life, not sitting, feeling alone and feeling miserable. And, she took a liking to me and we fancied each other. So there was a bit of a thing. But it was more about the friendship. It was always about the friendship.
Yeah.
And she got me out of my comfort zone. And we ended up going to America together for like 2 weeks. And that was fucking awesome. Like I remember there was a particular moment, there was a couple of moments that were amazing, being in the desert, being in Las Vegas. But the one that stands out for me the most was being on Santa Monica Beach and being like in the water. And Maha was on the beach just kind of with my stuff. And I was just swimming in the sea. And I just, for the first time in like years, I felt like genuinely free and like happy. And I knew that when I would go back, I'd be quitting that job that I hated, going to university, everything would change. And I just had to put up with like another month of crap, but I could do it because I could see the end goal, Yeah,
100%.
And man, like, I mean, I won't lie, after that point, there have been points where I've been like lonely and stuff here and there. Like, for example, I've been single now for about 3 years, I think. And in the beginning of that, it was very hard. But once I kind of learned, okay, you're not the type of person that's supposed to be part of groups. Like people don't include you. You're not that sort of person. But if you are confident in yourself and comfortable in your own space, ironically, people are more interested in you and will be more inclined to invite you out. It's reverse psychology. And people told me this for years. And I never listened to them because I was just like, oh, that's nonsense. That's rubbish. How can that be true? But it is. When you're doing your own thing and you're confident and you're happy, people gravitate towards that and they want to know, why is this guy so happy? What's he got to be happy about? Like, I want some of that. It's like a drug.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a process. It took a long time to get to this point.
I think it's something that comes with content creation as well, in the sense of like the demand on our time, and like you're putting out more content than I am these days, to be completely honest with you.
I have to though. You've already made it. I'm still busting my ass.
Made it, dude.
Well, let's quickly talk about that. You've literally, the last time I checked, you passed 1,200 subscribers. So we'd already mentioned in the last episode that we did together that you'd hit the 1,000 mark. I'd wager if it's not 1,200, it's pushing 1,500. You'll definitely get to 1,500 by summer. That's without doubt.
That's on track.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I mean, because with mine, it's been slow. And I think if I had to theorize, it's because your niche and you've pushed that niche to its fullest extent. And probably the biggest thing for you has been the live streams. You are different in the sense that most people will do all their live streams on Twitch. You do it on YouTube, which I think is a fantastic idea. And you've become, on many occasions, the most successful sort of live streamer for the okay, hang on. Super Mario. No, not Super Mario. Hang on. It's going to come to me. Brawl, Melee, Smash Bros. Super Smash Bros.
Smash Bros. Yes.
There it is. Yeah. Many times you've been the number one streamer in the UK. Sometimes even in the just in for the topic in general, like just the top stream.
Yeah, like there's a lot of times that I'm looking at the other streams that are going on at the same time as me, and in terms of English speaking streams, because the Japanese market is a whole different thing. You can't really penetrate it. But in terms of English speaking streams, you know, I've got the most concurrent viewers at the time and things like that. And it's just crazy how this has really blown up from that. The Smash Bros streams are not easy by any means. Smash is a stressful game. There's a lot of things that I have to kind of keep an eye on while I'm streaming at the same time, in terms of like making sure everyone's getting games and stuff like that.
Okay.
You're also dealing with Nintendo and their terrible Windows 98 servers. It's not easy. They recently, Nintendo have upgraded their server equipment.
But they were using Windows. That's nuts. What do you mean? How could they still be using Windows 98?
We don't know, but that's why the online was so bad.
Jesus.
Like Smash Bros crashes online all the time.
Wow. That's nuts.
Because they don't put any money into the online server side of things.
I guess they saw
Nintendo.
Do you know what it probably was? It's probably when all that controversy happened and suddenly like everyone were talking about Super Smash Bros. That raised the stock because, you know, as the famous saying goes, controversy creates cash. So,
but the other thing is as well, it wasn't just for Smash Bros. Like any Nintendo online game was using these servers.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's mad. Like Splatoon, Mario Kart, anything you could think of on the Switch was using these terrible servers. And now we've moved on from that. Well, we're starting to move on from that, and they're putting better stuff in.
Do you know what I gotta say? Yeah, go on.
Smash is hard. Smash is a hard game to stream.
I can make so many jokes right now.
In that. Yeah, please do. You know, there's a lot of toxicity in that community as well. But I think I'm quite lucky in the sense that my little pocket community that I've got is so solid that, you know, don't get me wrong. That's not saying that we're completely the nicest people ever, fluffy all the time. Some, you know, saltiness comes with games at the end of the day. I'll have my salty moments. Other people will have their salty moments. But generally, this community has really been so lovely, and they've really come together in that regard. And it's really nice to see, to have its own like pocket of YouTube.
Something that you do that I've actually started doing recently that I think is the main reason why you're successful right now is the fact that you approach it from the perspective of like, you don't create content to get tons of views. You create content for a community. Your focus is, I want to build this community as much as possible. And the thing is, when you make that change in mindset, something happens. Like I've done it with mine. I don't know if you've noticed, I've been doing like a lot of live streams lately where
I've seen that.
Right. And literally all I do is a talk, right?
Okay.
And apparently people like it. You know, sometimes I'll play music and stuff in there as well, but like mostly it's just talking. And you see the same faces coming in, and every now and again someone will pop in, someone will discover you. Like I had someone subscribe last night, and they really dug the content. And yeah, but that's the thing. Sorry, so I should explain. They were in the live stream, they were having a good time, and I saw while I was streaming that they subscribed. And this is the key. This is the key. It's like, you've got to kind of, when you're doing your live stream, essentially the whole thing is an advert. It's like, subscribe to me, support me, right? And you got to really win them over. And like you said, it's really hard streaming. Like people think it's easy, or you just sit and play a game. But no, like, especially if you're playing a game as well, like you got to focus on the game. You got to focus on your audience. You've got to have the energy and be really plugged in. I mean, there's so many things you've got to think about.
I mean, the way I see it is that it's not so much streaming as you are reacting to your community. And you may have noticed like some of my content recently, as you were saying about it being kind of catered towards my community somewhat. We've got the Q&A, obviously that happens every month, and that's a really good way for people to, ask the questions that they want to ask. And, once a month I put that out there, people get things answered. And the one that I've recently started doing was the Calamity Quickie series, which I know the name just gets a chuckle out of everybody. But it was actually inspired by another YouTuber called Omni, who is one of my favorite YouTubers. And he is something of a drama commentary channel. He talks about what's going on YouTube and Twitter and all that kind of thing. And this entire series has been paying homage to that, because it's something that does really interest me, YouTube drama. But it's something that there's never really been a spot for on my channel. But in doing it in the way of the Calamity Quickie, I'm opening it up to the community to say, what do you want me to talk about? What stories are you seeing right now that you want me to have a little talk about and give my opinions? And because of that, it's become, as you said, very like community focused. And even then, as you were saying as well, like you get a new person pop in who's like, oh, I was also watching something about this headline from another YouTuber, and then, I quite like this. Yeah, I'm going to check it out. So it's quite a good way of growing the community, as well as, like bolstering it at the same time, I guess, strengthening it.
I think one big thing as well, something that I realized was I was very adamant. I'm not going to create more than one channel. Everything has to go on the main channel. And then people started saying like, look, like I asked my friends, hey, do I upload too much? I knew the answer. And they were like, yeah. And they were like, you should create, a second channel. So I did, but I didn't have a proper plan for it. And then eventually, I created the third channel, the podcast clips channel, because I was just uploading way too much on the main channel. And ironically, it actually gave me more time for the main channel and more it gave it more breathing room. So like you'll notice now, there are some days where I don't even upload on the main channel, like a day or two.
Yeah.
And I do it on purpose. And what I'm thinking is that I'm actually going to probably have more channels as time progresses. Because I'm a multi-content creator, it makes it tricky. And I think you might have maybe not a problem with this in the future, but like the fact that it's very specific to like a particular niche, your audience expects a certain thing. So if you start doing drastically different content, I mean, it depends. Like if they really dig it, then, we can run with it, keep it. But like chances are, if it's so drastically different from the main stuff, it's not fitting with the brand. So you might even have to just do a separate channel, like, you know what I mean? And
I do think we're getting to that. I do think there's going to come to the point where there's the non-Sonic Calamity Hatcher's channel.
Yeah.
Because, there's other things I want to talk about, dude. There's so much nerdy stuff that I'm into. As you well know, our Star Wars is our Marvel, DC, all of this kind of Avatar, there's a lot of places I want to go to. And while there are crossovers within the genre of Sonic and Star Wars and things like that, that already exists in my community at the moment. I think that we may get to a point where I need to differentiate it, because when you think of like content slots for the week, if we put it that way, so my ideal situation would be video Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then streams when I can fit the streams in. Again, there will always be a stream on a Wednesday, because that's the best day to be on YouTube, as we both know. So
I didn't know that.
I think, did you not know that?
Wednesday
is the busiest night on the platform.
Wow.
Research. It's the night when most people are sat at home looking at their phones or looking at YouTube on a computer. So it's the day to push your biggest upload. And also, if you can do a stream that day, do a stream that day. But I think, no worries. But what I mean by that is, if I've got, so we'll call that 3 content slots for the week. Well, one of those at the moment is being taken up by WandaVision, which is pulling about 20 to 30 views. It's not a lot, because people haven't subscribed to my channel to watch about the new Disney Plus show.
Yeah.
But, it takes up one of those slots. So I think there will be a point where I will end up doing a second channel that is purely non-Sonic. So it drives that Sonic fan base forward, and they get what they want and they're happy, as well as bringing a new audience into a more nerdy themed kind of thing.
I think your approach, well, both of our approaches has been very good. Like to kind of let time and the audience dictate it. Like the podcast clips channel, I never wanted to make another channel. Like I thought 2 was a push already, but the third channel, was born out of necessity, because there was just so many clips I was uploading to the main channel, and it was just overkill. And I was like, there's got to be a way of like dealing with this. And now it's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got Joe Rogan, you got Joe Rogan clips, you've got H3 podcast and H3 highlights. Like you got Jack Mate's happy hour, and then Jack Mate's shorter ones I forget the name of now. But I think that's a really good way to do it with podcasts, because it's a much shorter video for people to digest. What we'll say like 6 to 12 minutes as a guesstimation. That's a much better entry point for someone to see something than commit to an hour, maybe 2 hours of an entire podcast. But they see that and they think, you know what, I'm really liking this. I'm going to go check out the actual podcast itself. Right. What I think you would be good doing is uploading actual trailer type clips to Facebook for your podcasts, like it's actual Facebook videos. Because for some reason, Facebook videos just seem to pick up. I don't quite get it. Like, I've released trailers for upcoming videos if it was like a particularly big video I was doing on Facebook. And, that's not my subscriber base on YouTube. That's just my friends and stuff. But it picks up so much traction, particularly if you're using the right code words and stuff, keywords, and stuff like that.
So short clips, like less than a minute.
Yeah, minute, 30 seconds.
Okay.
Little trailer, teaser.
I'm going to try this because I've been experimenting with YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels recently, right?
Okay.
It's all born out of the fact that I returned to TikTok because I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm just a fool for not being on the platform. So I'll do it. Good way to grow your audience, really is.
A lot of people have told me that.
It really is.
I don't know how Sonic translates to TikTok.
Dude, 100%. If you make short, because it's a minute, you're restricted to a minute. I guarantee you'll push your audience. Like I've seen that I've gained subscribers, not loads, but I've seen that I've gained subscribers because I mostly put music on there. It's a music platform, so it makes sense to do that.
Yeah, of course.
And I even put podcast clips on there, and they do well occasionally.
Okay.
But this idea, what you're saying about putting short stuff, like I've noticed the same thing. Like there's videos that I released. Like there's this one that I released, which was like a really short 20-30 second skit on YouTube, like what it'll be like when we come out of quarantine or whatever, right? Released it like a year ago.
Yeah.
And I sort of released a bunch of stuff on Facebook just for shits and giggles. And then like you said, randomly the, I guess, Facebook algorithm, if there is one, picked it up. And like every now and again, they randomly just push my videos. Like, and so that one's close to 1,000 views. It doesn't even have that many views on YouTube, but on Facebook it does. And then there's other times when I've done like a Twitch stream. Like I remember the first time it happened that I discovered that this was a thing was I did like a 5-piece series, or like I did a 3-hour stream of like on Twitch about, I don't know, things that 90s kids will remember. And I split it into like 5 pieces. So it's like half an hour each or something, right?
Yeah.
And I put them all on Facebook. And, obviously they just sat there for ages. And then one day, like the 4th part blew up. And still to this day, the 4th part and the 3rd part banged. But then the rest of them just had like a couple of views, like 100.
Okay.
Or so. And it makes no sense to me because that 4th clip got like 50, was it like 1,500 views or something?
Damn.
So
you're right. Like as content creators, we're always trying to guess the algorithm, and there's no science for it, even though the algorithm is literally science.
One thing, science to it. One thing is for certain: short content right now is something that all content creators need to be doing, 100%. Like for instance, I would recommend you set up a shorts channel. And literally, even if you don't want to make new content and you just want to take like trailers or short stuff and just stick it on there, trust me, it'll bang. Like on my second channel, I've gone from, since doing shorts for like a couple of weeks, I've gone from 69, nice, to 129 subscribers on the second channel.
Oh, nice.
On the third channel, less because it's podcast, but it went from like 11 subscribers up to like 30 subscribers.
Okay,
so
that's still pretty good.
There's something for this YouTube Shorts algorithm, but same thing on Instagram Reels. Shout out to Childish Jacko. He told me to do it ages ago, and I was like, nah, what's the point? And then I just thought, fuck it, I'll put it on there, and yeah, they bang. Not, you know, and
Okay.
it's really random. Like there's no pattern to it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, for instance, on Reels, my most successful video has got like 1,500 views, and it's me doing like accents or something.
Okay.
But then the rest of them do average around 100. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's a few music clips that have like close to 1,000. It makes no sense because I'm like, well, so what I do is I just keep creating whenever I have an idea or do music or anything, and just put it everywhere, like TikTok, YouTube. I guess I'll start doing it on Facebook now as well, and it will just bang for no reason. I guess I said this to someone recently, but I think Shorts is probably just what most people, certainly the younger generation, are interested in, you know.
Yeah, this TikTok generation type thing of it, you know, this short form content really does work. But I still think, obviously, the content that we produce still has its place. I still think that is the main drive on YouTube. But I think the short form content is one of the best ways to market that to people that aren't following you, that aren't
100%.
already invested in, you know, like a 10-minute video. And, you know, as you're seeing with, as you said, with the Instagram reels and stuff like that, you can get some incredible results with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I think if anything, it's best to do both. So like spend a lot of time doing your long form content, put all the effort in, make sure it's premium, blah, blah, blah. And then with the short stuff, you don't even have to put a lot of effort into it. As long as you have a phone, that's it. That's all you need.
I've got a phone and a Sonic the Hedgehog costume. I can do so much.
I guarantee it will bang, 100%.
Yeah, I might have to give it a go. I have been thinking about the TikTok thing.
I guarantee there'll be loads of people already doing it as well. You'll be blown away. That'll be a good way to expand your audience and also meet other people as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's valid. Just keep an eye out. The Calamity Hatcher TikTok will probably appear soon.
Do it. You know? Do a shorts channel. Do, I don't know, Calamity Hatcher shorts or something, and just set up for experimentation purposes. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Guarantee.
Okay, sick.
But let's talk about monetization, because you recently got that as well. And as we know, like when you're sort of trying to get to the 1,000 subscribers mark, that doesn't mean that the journey is over. Like you're still having to get that watch time. So when that happened, obviously you banged it. You kept pushing the live streams, and it worked for you. So what's the like? I'm not going to ask you how much you get, but like, how does it work? Do you get anything from it? Is it worth your time, or is it just laughable at this point? But hey, at least you did it.
It's laughable at this point, but at least I did it. I've got to be honest with you. 1,000 views seems to get me about $1.
Well, something.
And also you have to earn £60 before you should pay you any of it. There's a threshold.
There always is.
I'm very fortunate in the sense that a lot of people have sent in I'll get my words right in super chats.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that actually. Yeah.
For instance, I have one guy that I'm going to shout out on the channel right now called Icy Kai, who donated $100 in super chats. I still haven't hit the threshold because Google take half of that.
Wait, hold on. With the super chat, they take half.
Yep, they take half your super chat.
Wow.
Yep. So,
well, that's still better than Twitch, who take 90%.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But it's still like you don't. It kind of makes me sad in a way that someone came onto stream and was like, I've got $100 that I want to donate to you, but I'm going to do it in bits, and they kept doing it in bits. This was Icy Kai, and it was like that's so lovely that like someone wanted to do that, and then you think, unfortunately, that corporation that have already got too much money and literally too much information have taken half of that.
Best thing for us content creators right now to do is to focus on sponsors and pushing things like Patreon. That's the way forward.
Patreon's one I've been looking at for a long time.
You need to set one up. You 100% need to set one up for a couple.
But I need to figure out what the content would be, and I think it's probably going to be more long form movie commentaries and that kind of thing, and TV show commentaries. If I do it,
well, it can also be guided. It can be guided by your audience. Like one thing that you've got that's really good is you've got an audience that reacts. Because whenever I ask my audience, everyone ignores me. But when you reach out, people respond, right? So that's perfect. That's already half the battle. So with them, you can ask them, okay, what do you want to see? If I set up a Patreon, what do you want to see? What kind of exclusive content? That's a real key word to use as well. Exclusive to Patreon. Because that way you can sort of diversify. You know, so like people still get free content from you, but if they want that sort of higher tier, you know, that exclusive stuff, or maybe like more personalized stuff, like a shout out, or I don't know, like one-on-one, something like that, then they got paid to do that. And that's the difference, really. You know?
Yeah, 100%. And there's also the YouTube join feature, which is basically the same.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that.
And people have actually asked about that, whether I was going to do a membership thing on the channel.
Can you
put it out to them? Yeah, I can do it. Once you're monetized, you're able to do that.
Is it the same with the super chat thing as well? You have to be monetized to do that.
Yeah. So that literally, the second you get that monetized status, that all comes into a effect on your account, and you can muck around with it.
Wow.
But you know, I put it out to them. What kind of stuff do you want to see? And it's still difficult because people want different things. You know, and some person might want one thing, another person might want another. It's a tricky one to figure out, and I still think with my channel, I'm still finding my feet to this day. I'm still not 100% there. Like I don't get me wrong, I love covering Sonic the Hedgehog, and I love playing Smash Bros. But you know, am I a Sonic news channel? Am I a Sonic video essay channel? Am I a Sonic Let's Play channel? There's so many different forms, and I keep going into all these different things. Like some of my news videos do very well. My streams of Sonic games are getting more and more popular. Some of my video essays really do well. Like I've got one that's almost 20,000 views, another one that's almost 15,000 views. But with those, obviously that takes a lot more time to put together a full video essay than it does to be like, right, guys, this is the news that we've heard today. Let's go. Which can also bring in its views. It's quite difficult trying to find that footing. Yeah. And I think when you're looking at a payment model behind it, it's even more difficult to find that footing. You've really got to know what you want to do. And I want to keep, I love creating content. I really do. It's one of those things that I never thought I would ever get around to doing, but I'd always wanted to do. And now that I do it, it's one of my favorite things. I often find struggle in motivation to actually record, but when it comes to the editing process, I lose myself for hours and hours on it. And I'm not even saying my editing is particularly good, because I'm still learning every day with my editing, but that whole process is just amazing to me. And I feel like if it's a payment method content system, it's got to be something that goes above and beyond what I've done so far.
I agree.
It's got to be, the quality's got to be next level. People are paying for this. You know, there is that, of course your quality needs to be decent anyway, but there is also that sort of thing of like, well, you didn't pay for it. So, you know, this is the quality of the channel generally. If you like it, like and subscribe, you know, watch the videos. But I just feel like I've really got to step things up on a monetization thing. There's a lot of editing techniques that I want to explore more, and I'm using various different YouTubers and platforms in order to grow those skills. But I think it's just not something I want to rush into. That is the only thing. I don't want to rush into it, do it half-assed, and take people's money for that. I want it to be something that I can completely commit to and make some of the best content that I've ever created, to be completely honest with you. I don't want to rip people off, you know?
I think that's fair. Yeah. I agree with you. I'm in the similar boat. Obviously, I'm not at your level yet, but I do kind of feel, nah, dude, it's a long journey. It's a long journey.
Dude, all it takes is one video with the right keywords. All it takes. That algorithm picks it up, suddenly, bang. Like, you have to look at mine. Mine took 2 years, nearly 3 years, to get to 500 subscribers. And then COVID happened.
Okay.
And I was very smart about how I did things. I was on Instagram searching hashtag Sonic the Hedgehog or Sonic.
Okay.
Going through, finding everyone that was liking these popular Sonic posts, following them.
Clever.
And then if they followed me back, I would send them a message and I would say, look, I'm a Sonic content creator. We're in lockdown. I've got a small channel. I need to find out what kind of content that people want to see from the Sonic community. Would you mind having a look at this? Let me know what you think. Let me know if you enjoyed it, if there's anything else I can do. I picked up 200 subs in like 2 days.
Wow.
It was insane. And it really just reaching out to people like that. And I'll be honest, it was a copy and paste system for these messages.
All the best systems are.
Exactly. But then before I was messaging someone, I would look through their profile. Because a lot of them like Sonic art pages and stuff like that. And I'd be like, dude, by the way, love this particular piece. Like you've done, it's like genuinely, I really enjoy this. Still the same copy and pasted message with your video link and all that. But you personalize it to each person, cater it. Takes a bit longer, probably takes you about 2 hours longer than it normally would. Because when I was doing this was like 8 hours a day doing this. It was insane.
Wow.
But adding that personal touch to it really brings people in.
I've actually started doing a similar thing with Instagram. Like when people follow me and I know it's because like I know they're going to stick around. They're not just trying to grow their follower count, and they've like actively liked my stuff and they've engaged with me. I like them back. I start kind of talking to them, and I've even started inviting certain people. Like there's regulars I have. Shout out to Selmin, SoCal. You guys are awesome. I've started doing things like pushing them towards the Discord, pushing them towards things that I do, trying to build that community there. But like you said, you really got to kind of interact with people as much as you can, and live streams are obviously a very good way of doing that. But it's a process. I guess it takes a long time, but that's the thing that a lot of people underestimate about being a content creator. Like you got to do a lot of different things. You got to do like editing, graphics. That's something I avoided for ages. I've actually just started to properly do thumbnails now, where I didn't bother before, but now I actually put some effort into it. And I'm not a great designer. I never will be, but I don't know. I mean,
Same here. I mean, I've got some friends that are incredible graphic designers. Shout out to Crew Cartoons and a few other people. They make some really nice stuff. And then I've been finding my footing with thumbnails for a while now. Because they're tricky. Oh, excuse me. They're tricky. They're not easy to get right. Considering a thumbnail is the window to your channel. Is it was someone put it that way, and I quite like that expression. It's something you've got to get right, but what are the parameters for right with a thumbnail? And everything is just trial and error.
It's just grabbing someone's attention, really, isn't it?
Exactly.
I mean, like I decided to be playful with one I did the other day, and I'm not sure if it's the thumbnail or the fact that I posted it in a specific Reddit that did a job. But basically, I posted a video about like a holiday experience in Bulgaria, right? And it was to do with ping pong. So like the picture is like a guy playing ping pong. His head is the Bulgarian flag, and then like there's the text at the bottom, right? And then there's a picture of me like doing some stupid face, like you got to get that in. And I'm going back on what I said, because I've said this in the past, so this makes me a hypocrite. But I'm holding my hands up and saying, "Hey, sorry." Now I'm just trying everything, because I used to be that guy that'd be like, no, I'm not going to try that. No, I'm not going to do that. And now I just go, fuck it. I'll try everything. If it doesn't work, I'll stop. If it works, I'll keep doing it. And that's how I do it these days. And, that video is done really well compared to what I normally do. And I think it comes down to being a bit strategic with social media as well. Like subreddits, they're hit and miss. A lot of the time when you try to post in subreddits, you just get banned because people are like, why are you promoting yourself? We don't like that. And it's like, dude, Jesus.
You know what you need? You need a community member to go and post your videos. I have someone that does that for me.
No,
they would join the Sonic Reddit.
They would still... what I'm talking about is more to do with like, sometimes you join a subreddit and like they don't like any kind of OC stuff. It has to be specifically
Yeah.
Like, so here's a good example, right? I posted one time in the Pokemon subreddit, a couple of clips of me playing like, first gen, right? It was a bit of fun, funny clips. And like, it's such a toxic community, just loads of people hating on me. And I was like, fine, screw you guys. And I just deleted. Because one person even said like something like, it was something along the lines of like, why are you even here? Or why would we watch this? And it's like, because it's about Pokemon and this is a Pokemon subreddit. Like, why do you guys have to be so... And that's why I don't really care anymore. Like, a lot of the time, like, I'll just try stuff out here and there, but a lot of the time I just focus on the SEO stuff, the keywords, the hashtags, the thumbnails, all that stuff. Because I don't know, like, I feel like a lot of the time there's this, and I've spoken about this before, but when you're starting out, no one cares about you. Like, no one cares. Like, some people, if you tell them, I've got like 1,000 subscribers, they'll be like, that's pretty cool. Most of the time when I tell people I've got like 500, they're like, okay. Which means, there's no point caring because he's just some small time guy, right? And that always kind of bugs me because it's like, it's not quantity, it's quality that's important.
Yeah.
And if I've already got 500 subscribers, I mean, that should tell you that I'm doing something right.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just not kind of got to the point, and like it's a gamble. It's like you said, it takes a long time, and not everyone makes it. Like I found a guy the other day. Shout out to Dulai all day. I'm trying to get him on my podcast actually, but he's ducking me. He's ducking me.
Yo, bro, pick up the phone.
He spoke to me, but he's taking a break from all this. So fair play.
I don't blame him for that. Not blame him at all.
He's got less subscribers than me. He's got like 300 or something. But he's been doing YouTube for like 6 years, right? And he's excellent. He makes fantastic content. And I discovered him through like a big YouTuber that I was watching. So I got recommended his video. And I was like, this guy is awesome. And I can tell that he's just deflated by YouTube and he's just kind of like sick of it. And it's like, he's just accepted that it's never going to go anywhere. And I don't ever want to get to that point. Like, I'm trying to kind of look at it like my eyes are beyond YouTube as well. I'm looking at just content in general, like creating a brand, right? But my goal now is not to become rich and famous. Like, I want that like everyone else, but my biggest goal is to earn a living from this. If I get to do this as my job and I can live on it, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, I love my job as it is. So I think the idea would be to, well, this sounds really bad, but I guess to earn a living wage from YouTube and have my full-time job so that I could, I mean, because then you're earning good money then.
But wouldn't you want to quit?
You're not rich,
wouldn't you want to quit your main job and just do YouTube full time?
I love it too much. I love what I do for a living.
What do you do?
I'm a computer engineer.
Okay.
So I build PCs for the VFX and gaming industry.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I get to go on site to these different companies and work on things from time to time. And, I'm often building masses of machines that are going to companies that I know are working on projects that I love and I'm going to watch in the future. So there's a real job satisfaction for me in that sense.
Cool.
But the other thing that I've also found is, and it's something that I really found during lockdown, if you've got nothing to do, it can be quite hard to motivate yourself. Like, I would get up in the morning and be like, right, I'm going to make this video today. And I'd only get around to doing maybe one because it was just, I find it difficult if I haven't already got that like routine in place. I find that my motivation really slips to like nothingness. I like having that routine of work and then being like, right, so today you need to get home and you need to record this video. And then you've got half an hour to go and eat something. And then you've got to get on stream. And then tomorrow evening, you've got to edit this to get out on Wednesday and things like that. Like, I kind of like that routine, that rush.
I'm the opposite, man. I hate routine. Routine demotivates me. And I've tried, believe me. Like, I'm very organized as a person. If I was just doing like regular marketing stuff, I would organize myself and my time. But when it comes to YouTube, like if I start doing that, like, oh, I'm going to make this YouTube video and then this, and it's going to be these days, like I get so demotivated. It's one of the reasons why with the podcast, you'll notice that I just release it randomly. I don't have a set day. I try to do it as much as I can every week, but like it's not a guarantee. And there's two reasons for that. The biggest reason is I don't want the pressure of like, let's say I don't release an episode for a while and there being this like expectation of like, oh, well, it's always on Mondays. Why is it not here? I hate that. And like it will be out when it's out because it will have my full energy and attention into it. And I can't always guarantee, to be honest, that I'll have the energy and time to do something. Like, for example, there are some days where I just don't create anything at all. I just take a day off, take a couple of days off, and I don't even really think about it a lot. I'm just kind of like, do you know what? I just need to rest. I just need to not do this. Because I just, and sometimes it's a mental health thing. Sometimes I'm just like a bit kind of down in the dumps, and I think like, well, the last thing I want to do is comment. Like I remember one time fairly recently, actually, I came on a stream and I felt like crap, and I was there for like half an hour, and then I just ended it and deleted it. And someone reached out to me, a friend of mine, so thanks, SoCal. And I shouldn't have done it. That I had no place. I shouldn't have been on that stream at all. And that's how it should always be. You got to show up with your full energy, and if you can't do that, like it's okay. Like just take a break. Just rest.
It's happened to me. Like I've done streams where it's like, oh, I said I was going to stream today, not really feeling up to it, and it shows. It definitely shows in what you do. You're sitting on stream, you're not as hyped as you normally are. You're not as motivated. I think the audience can definitely pick up on it.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's something that particularly when you hit that monetized barrier, there is this legit pressure of putting stuff out and dealing with life at the same time, and how these two things fight each other.
Yeah.
And they can really go at each other. Like I put myself in some situations where it's like, I need to get this out today. It's Wednesday. I need to get my video out. And it's like, life is meaning that that's not the best option for you right now. You need to chill.
Yeah.
But then there's a guilt that almost comes with not then pushing forward and creating the content and that kind of thing. Like there is a whole range of mental health issues that I think that come with being a YouTuber or a content creator of any kind. I legitimately think there are. Like the dopamine rush from checking YouTube Studio, or the dopamine fall from checking YouTube Studio. Because it's one of the first things I do every day.
Yeah, same.
Is check on my phone YouTube Studio. If those numbers aren't going the way I want to, that's a negative. That's a low straight away. If they're doing well, then granted, there's a little spike of serotonin. That's always nice. But generally, as the life of smaller content creators, it's not going to be that little serotonin rush every time. 9 times out of 10, it is like, no one's really watched this one. This hasn't done as well as I thought. Like there's a whole range of issues that come with it, I feel, that people don't really think about.
I totally agree. I still haven't really figured out how to deal with that, because I mean, I try not to look at the stats as much anymore. But it's hard, it's hard and it's not even like I'm sitting there kind of thinking like, oh, I really hope this does well. I really hope this bangs. Like I have realistic expectations about how things will do. Like I aim to just kind of pass my average. That's kind of, and to be honest, like it's like I said at the beginning, my approach has changed now. Like I don't focus on the numbers. I don't focus on haters or any of that. I just kind of focus on like what the community is saying, like what the people are saying, like when they come in the live streams, are they having a good time? Are they enjoying it? Is there more people joining? That's what I focus on. And there's been a lot of positivity, especially in the last couple of months. And I think it comes down to like consistency and also kind of just not caring if something does badly, because it happens, it happens to me all the time. And the way I look at it is like one day all of this content is going to bang. You know, like you said, like there'll be that one video that'll be the gateway or whatever, or just get discovered randomly. And then all of this content will finally do what it deserves to do. Because one thing I always focus on doing is trying to create evergreen content. So that's one of the reasons why I don't do like much topical stuff, because it quickly, you know, especially in this day and age, it quickly becomes old news, and then it's just dead content on your channel that is not really interesting. Like, for example, if you're talking about like you're doing like a speculation video, right? That'll bang maybe for like a week or two, and then the thing comes out, and then what? What, it just, do you know what I mean? Like the thing's happened. It's probably not what you guessed it would be. And then what happens? Like no one's ever going to watch that again.
Yeah. I mean, I do a video every year that's called Leaked Sonic Games for that year. And it's like the big leaks. And one of them has got almost 20,000 views. But that's from 2019. And that will never reach the 20,000 views because it's 2 years ago. No one cares about that now. We're in 2021. They want to know what Sonic games are going to get leaked for this year.
Exactly.
Which is literally all the fucking community are talking about right now.
And I think you've got the right approach there. Just do a one-off. You know, why do regular? Like, it fascinates me when I see these people who spend all their time, and I'm not hating. Okay, if you have a channel where you're basically doing news every day, you're doing all of that, fair play to you. I wouldn't have the energy to do that because I just feel like it's way too demanding. And
yeah, people like Philip DeFranco, Keemstar, all those people, like, it takes a lot to get that content out. Must be hella stress to get that out as well, to be involved in these situations that are going on a lot of the time. But then once that video's, you know, you've maybe got a week on that video of it being relevant. If you are at the most lucky you can be, a whole week, maybe it would just be 24 hours, that video being relevant. Sometimes less than that. It could be like a couple of hours of that video being relevant.
Right, let's move things forward. I want to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog 30th anniversary.
I mean, what is there to talk about? Let's be real. Sega, can you give us something?
Oh, they still haven't they? Yeah.
No.
When is it supposed to drop?
Speculation.
What specific day or date?
June 6th, I believe, is the actual birthday. So
Sega, sorry.
Dude, that's music to my ears. But hopefully we're going to get something then, or an announcement then. I assume we're going to get some sort of live stream for his birthday where they're going to announce a few bits. But
how disappointed would you be if it was literally just they just uploaded a clip and it was just
I'd
and then that's it.
I'd end up making a very angry video.
Do you know? It's a good point though. What can they possibly do for a 30th anniversary? It's such a big thing. Like,
I think Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 remakes. It's the most requested game in the franchise, apart from Sonic Adventure 3, which I don't see it. But remakes, considering, you know, how well people like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro have all cashed in on this nostalgia, I think it's a no-brainer at this point. We've got the head of Sonic team saying that he's wanted to do this for some time. It just makes sense.
Do you? I'm not going to ask you what, but do you have an idea of what you're going to do yet for the anniversary? Have you thought about it?
Yep. There is a very special video that's going to be coming out. I might as well plug this here because you were in the last one.
You don't have to say what it is.
I won't give the full outline, but like last year, I will be doing a montage section where people send in their video happy birthdays.
Yeah.
I want to do it bigger and better than last year.
Ooh.
Last year, we had about 30 entries.
Damn.
I want to try and get about 100 this year. I want to make this massive compilation. And if I can get it long enough, it'll get to the point where I don't tack it onto the end of one video. There will be two separate uploads on Sonic's birthday, one with that montage and one with this other video.
That's a good idea.
I'm currently working on. All I can say for the main video is that I will be taking to the streets of London for this one.
I knew it. I knew it.
So yeah, I'm going to be up in the capital filming something very special. So look forward to that. There should be quite a good comedic element to it.
I bet
I'm really looking forward to doing that.
You're going to go to Leicester Square.
I am going to go to Leicester Square, funnily enough.
Of course he's going.
I am going to Leicester Square.
That's where everyone goes.
Yeah,
that's where I would go.
Exactly. I think you know, don't you? You know what I'm going to do.
I have a rough idea. I'll say off camera what I reckon you're going to do.
Yeah. Don't say on camera because it's going to be the best surprise when people see it, or a horrifying surprise, depending on your views. But it's
now I'm intrigued. Okay. Let's move on. Damn. Yeah, there's so many things I could ask you. Okay, let's just talk real quick about 2021, your goals and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I actually did something differently this year. I decided to set myself goals at the beginning.
Yeah, same.
Just as a kind of, hey, here's what I'm trying to do. And the goals right now is for the main channel, 1,000 subscribers. I have other goals, but these are just my like YouTube goals, right?
Yeah.
Second channel was to get to 100, which I've already done. Woo! And for the third channel is to get to 50. And I figured these are conservative, these are doable. And then,
fair enough.
We'll go from there. But what about yours? What yours for the year?
I set 2,500 subs. It may be overly, I don't know the right term for this.
Ambitious.
Ambitious, yes. Sorry, couldn't find it there. It may be overly ambitious, but I would rather set myself something that's a bit too ambitious, because in my head, I haven't decided I'm going to make it to that point. So I won't get the disappointment if I don't, but it gives me something to keep pushing towards in that regard.
I think the fact that you have set this goal in a year where there's a 30th anniversary for Sonic the Hedgehog and you're doing 2 videos to capitalize on it, I think you're giving yourself a very good chance. I think it's possible. I don't actually think it's that outlandish. However, I do think that you're going to have to do more than that. I think diversifying, doing some of the short stuff that we spoke about, I think you branching out, making maybe even new channels, that like there's going to have to be a big change up on your channel and your process. And I think that's how you'll get there.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I suppose my other goal is I want to get 100,000 views this year. I ended up getting like 70,000 or something like that last year, maybe more than that.
Good.
So not too far off. I just want to get that kind of clean, even 100,000.
What's your most viewed video at the moment?
It's still that leaked Sonic Games 2019 one.
Oh, wow.
On 19,000 views.
Does it ever pick up views still?
Not really, no. Because it's like, it's painfully close. It's like...
No, but do you ever just randomly get like someone viewing it? Like just...
Not really. I do have videos that do that. So last summer, I put out a video of why Shadow the Hedgehog is the most important character in the Sonic franchise.
See, that's evergreen.
Even now, that's still picking up.
That's evergreen.
Views and comments all the time. Yeah. So it's weird, but no, generally not. I do find that different kind of trends in things pick things up on older videos, which is kind of strange. Like December last year, we had Sonic Week. Don't know why we called it that, because it was fucking ridiculous. Nothing happened, no news or anything. But then I did a video on it. And then this year, when there was a leak that came out, for a game, that suddenly started to pick up loads of views, because I don't know how, but that association came there somehow. So I find it's very strange. I do find it's very strange. But as we were saying previously, I think with the leaked Sonic Games 2019, it has a longevity of 2019, or until a game is announced and you've been proven wrong. Do you know what I mean? But it's different content does different things. You know, it pulls in views at times you don't expect. So potentially there is the chance of hitting that 100,000. Well, 100,000, sorry. Yeah, no, 100,000. I think there is a chance. I do think there's a chance of doing it. So yeah, we're on a positive this year. We're gonna smash it this year. I'm looking forward to it.
What is the biggest life lesson you've learned so far? He's giving it real good thought there. That's good.
I am.
I don't know why I approached that like a golf commentator. And he's going up to the hole. And
I like the golf. It's fun.
Do you? I don't.
I do love golf. It's a gentleman's sport.
You say so.
Oh God, now I'm dying. I guess it would be. No, I'm just coughing. I guess it would be. I don't know. Just focus on what makes you happy. Like, don't. If you want to get into this game, don't push yourself to make content that you're half-assing or you're not particularly invested in. Just as long as you do what makes you happy in that regard, your personality is going to shine through, and it's going to be what people want to see. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned.
Absolutely. As we draw things to a close for today, Mr. Jack Hatcher, Mr. Calamity Hatcher, do you have any upcoming projects or final thoughts that you'd like to share with us?
Well, feels like I mentioned this last time I was here. Merch is re-dropping for my birthday.
Oh, cool.
It will be launching fairly soon, as we are now in March, and the campaign is normally for 30 days. So that will be dropping. I will be getting you one sent out from it. So send me your address. Let me know which color you want. The Calamities are going to be cheaper than they were last time.
That's such a great name, by the way. I'm just very...
I'm glad you like it. So yeah, the Calamities will be a bit cheaper than last time, and there will be a new piece of merch that is specifically like, because of my birthday coming up, is going to be a very specific piece of merch. I say that cryptically. I have not decided what it is yet. I just have a design, but I don't know whether it's going to be like a t-shirt or whether I'd like to put it on a hat or something like that, or a hoodie. But yeah, I'm basically going to be taking feedback from the community on that. So give feedback if you let me know what kind of merch you want. But that will be coming soon. And yeah, I mean, considering how time has been flying recently, I might as well just put it out there. Sonic's 30th anniversary. I believe it's June 6th. There will be some big content coming from this channel on that day. At the moment, there is a stream planned of Sonic 1, where we're going to finish all of Sonic 1 on that day, because it would have been 30 years since that original game.
Oh, bro, so you're going to do 2 videos plus a live stream?
Plus a live stream, plus potentially another live stream. If Sega are doing a live stream on that day to announce the new game, I'll be doing a reaction stream to that as well.
Oh, wow.
So it will be a busy old day. So if you like Sonic the Hedgehog, you know what to do. Head over to the channel and hit the subscribe button, because it's going to be kind of crazy. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much for appearing on the show, man. It's a pleasure to have you back, as always.
Thank you for having me, my friend.
Always an open platform for you, my friend. Until the next time. And for everyone listening to the Christian Reeve Podcast, make sure you are liking, sharing, and subscribed to the channel, and Christian Reeve Podcast clips as well. If you're not familiar, if you don't have the time to watch these in their entirety, well, podcast clips is where you go. And as always, make sure to leave us a good review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to the Christian Reeve Podcast. Leave us a good shining review, your thoughts, your feedback. Let us know what you want to hear in an upcoming episode of the podcast. Let us know who you would like to see on the show. And as always, take care. Peace be with you, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.